All right, go.
The CHAZ.
The
chop.
The chop.
Nope, CHAZ.
The CHAZ.
CHAZ.
I
Chop.
refuse to call it chop.
CHAZ up.
So there's this place in Seattle that I'm sure most of you know by now, but just because I have to, a bunch of lefties took over a 6 square block radius in Seattle. They called the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. It's now the Capitol Hill Occupied Protest, though they dispute what the chop really means. And one of the reasons people think they're calling it that is because, as they said, do you know what happened to people in the French Revolution who didn't get on board with the revolution? They got chopped.
They did get chopped.
Adam is now spinning the UFO.
We are now spinning the UFO.
We're in UFO spinning territory.
All right.
I was trying to do it all sneaky while you're talking.
Yeah,
Well, check out
it's
this-
not
check-
sneaky.
check out this
Slowly
video.
bring in the okay.
All right.
Well,
here
we got 5,000 likes and then 6,000 likes like
snap.
that. And I was like,
Wow.
I have
Spin the
to
UFO.
spin the UFO.
All
Takes
right.
priority. So
Take a look at this clip.
Thank you, everybody. Oh,
It says, Raz is handing out AR-15s from the back of his Tesla.
I want one.
he's
He's
got,
got a
He's
Tesla?
got
What?
a
He has a
Tesla.
Tesla?
That's crazy. This guy's got a bunch of rifles.
Dude, he's living. If you have a Tesla, you're living comfortable.
He's living.
Yeah,
You're-
well,
you're,
hey, man.
You're privileged.
He's got rifles for everyone.
Isn't this the case with a lot of these like occupation style protests? Like
Yep.
rich
Trust
people.
fund babies.
No, look, it's always the people of means who have the ability to actually do this stuff.
Yeah, you can get free
That's
time.
true.
So take a look. It says in Washington, to own an assault rifle, a person must be 21 plus. If outside their own home or business, they can charge Raz with a gross misdemeanor for the first transfer to anyone under 21, then a felony for everyone after. In this video, you actually see this dude Raz. Now they've been calling him the warlord of the CHAZ.
It's
or
more
the chop.
fitting now. Holy cow.
He walks up to his car. He's armed, and let me try and jump ahead. He pops open his trunk. He says something like, you know, who knows how to use a weapon or whatever. Here, let me make this bigger.
There we go.
This guy right here in the sweater. He walks up.
He's like,
gets handed a rifle.
I know.
He's
how
like,
to
I
do
know.
it.
Yeah,
Here, someone take my GoPro.
How old do you think this dude is right here?
20, maybe.
Yeah, maybe 20.
I don't know.
Babyface.
He looks
Yeah.
like he could be 18,
Seriously.
So here's the first question.
but he
And
could be
maybe-
in
maybe-
his early 20s. I don't know though.
Like, here's a question that maybe the
Oh man,
chat will know.
he was holding
So
it by the clip.
Maybe
What?
here's a question that maybe the chat will know.
Oh my
Can
goodness.
you legally just hand a rifle to someone in Washington to just use however they want?
Let
Now you
us
can see the dude
consult.
walking around with these rifles. So I'll tell you what, man. Is the only argument that he gave a rifle to someone under the age of 18 or under the age of 21? In my opinion, you know what I find really funny? Where are all the gun control lefties to be like, you shouldn't be able to lend a gun to somebody?
I don't think you can. I don't think that's
you
legal.
can.
I think you
Yeah.
can in some places. That's why I throw it to the
I
chat.
don't know.
Are you allowed to take a
They
weapon
say
and be like,
no.
here you go? They're saying no, you can't do that.
Nope.
Overwhelming
Yep,
no.
I see a lot of
No,
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 no.
no.
Well, I don't know if you've actually asked yet, or maybe you did, but still, it's an overwhelming no. Anyway,
Yeah,
I feel
probably not.
bad. This Raz is gonna get that guy killed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whoever it is,
young
it looks like
kid.
a kid, but if he's over 18, he's a man. He's an adult as far as we're concerned in this country. So he was given a gun. He clearly
Doesn't know
has
how to
no.
use it.
He was holding it like this, holding the clip of the gun.
And he's well,
That is
the
not
magazine.
how. Yeah.
But
okay.
Raz called it a clip. I see people being like, it's a magazine, not a clip. It's a magazine.
Yeah, I guess
So-
it's a different kind of guns, different.
So he says,
Titles,
take
but
the clip
still.
out, then put it back in, and the kid's like, clearly doesn't know what he's doing. I
Yeah.
say kid figuratively. I don't know how old he is. So look, man, I gotta say, I'm kind of concerned about some random young person who clearly has no idea to handle this weapon.
Yeah.
Just being
Clearly not.
handed it.
Man, he's
Carry
gonna
this
get
around.
that. He's gonna get him killed.
Yeah.
So here's what Crowder said. Stephen
Right.
Crowder of Louder with Crowder tweeted, "In my lifetime, I've never feared witnessing an actual civil war. But when an American city is taken over by lawless criminals with guns, can anyone be surprised when citizens try to take it back? Also, with guns. Turn back now, please, CHAZ Chop." First, I know exactly what the lefty media is going to do here. You know what they're going to do?
What?
Stephen Crowder, without evidence, claimed that far leftists with guns took over an American city. As we all know, a 6-block portion of Seattle has been occupied. The way Crowder described it, that's the media takedown tactic. Oh, he says an American city's been taken over. False. Nothing to worry about, everybody. Carry on. Because the New York Times and all these other media outlets are praising what they're doing, saying everything's fine. I love it.
I don't get it at all.
CNN in one day, Oliver Darcy writes, "Armed Antifa aren't taking over this space. That's just, if you listen to the right, here's what they'll tell you." On that same day, an on-the-ground reporter talking to, I believe it was the same day, talking to Anderson Cooper said, now, Anderson, you got to realize these people are armed and there is a potential for bloodshed should law enforcement try to take it back. So there's
a leader of Antifa like in there talking about, look, I don't even agree with everything they're doing here. But I forget, he's got all sorts of piercings. I don't know his name. I forget.
There's a bunch of
his name.
well-known.
He admits that he's without Antifa, and he's like, I'm not with them, but I'm here because this is where the action's at, and I'm going to stay here and do what I need to do. Now, I don't agree with them, but I don't care.
Here's what they like to do. CNN says, Antifa's not even a real group. It's an idea. It just means anti-fascist. Then as soon as you get that idea walking around with guns and they call themselves like John Brown Gun Club or something, they go, well, no Antifa here because no one from the organization is here. It's like, wait, what? You were the one who said it was an idea. So now that we're saying, yes, the people there of these various groups like Rose City Antifa and Puget Sound John Brown Gun Club, those are Antifa affiliated organizations. They operate as cells independently, but they have leaders, they have weapons. They clearly buy stuff. Right now, there's video going around where apparently these John Brown Gun Club people are in vehicles with no license plates.
Yeah, I saw that.
So yes, they're there. They're active. Now look, man, I don't think I wanna keep leaning on the side of this is probably going to be silly and kind of just wash away one day. I don't know though, man.
I don't know. Especially they're starting to deconstruct, man. They're beating up some kid who I guess stole money out of and some keys out of a car lot.
They beat him up.
They took him, and Raz was standing there like trying to tell them to let go of him, and the dude who had him was like, "You shut up."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Whoa!" He told Raz to shut up, and then started to beat the daylights out of this guy.
They already assaulted somebody.
So it's like they don't have law and order. It's what I was saying.
Warlord.
It's a lawless place. They have a warlord, and the warlord's not even in control. The guy, you see Raz clear as day telling the other guy to stop. We're gonna try to figure this out, and the dude was like, "Nah, I'm from the hood. I'm not some celebrity." Dude. I forget what he said. It's some. What is he? What is Raz knows for? He's a
SoundCloud rapper.
SoundCloud rapper. He's like, I'm not a SoundCloud rapper. I'm from the hood.
Yeah.
And then he knocks this dude out.
Oh man.
Pummels him.
Raz does.
It's bad. No. Raz is standing there trying to get the guy to stop.
Yeah,
the guy's like,
can't
no,
get him to stop.
you can't stop me. You shut your mouth.
He said, I'm not like you, a SoundCloud rapper. I'm from.
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh.
He's like, I'm gonna do this.
I watched a video where they surround a guy and they accuse him of being a thief, and they're like, "Why'd you run? Why'd you run if you didn't do anything?" It's like, bro, let me tell you. If a mob of lawless people with guns and baseball bats and pitchforks are screaming, "Burn the witch," I'm running.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and be like, hey, I turned myself into you guys who clearly have no cohesive thought in your brains. All you are just a mindless mob saying, "Burn the witch." Yeah, I'm running. But that's a sign of guilt to them. Man, it's like, I was going to make an analogy, but I know it's going to offend some people.
Do it.
Libya.
Do it.
Libya after the fall of, what was his face? Gaddafi, yeah. All the rival gangs started fighting, and it was just chaos in the streets. I know Libya was much, much, much worse than a bunch of dumb hippies dancing in the street. That's why I'm just making a light analogy that you've got roving factions trying to assert their random authority over a random place. It doesn't work.
Yeah, CHAZ is not just a hippie zone. Definitely not.
You know what, man?
That's on the surface, maybe.
When I saw Occupy Wall Street and I saw this, I'm like, I know what Occupy was like. I really think this will just get washed out eventually. But the fact that you've got people like Raz handing out, rifles to people, they're not playing games. I mean, let me rephrase that. They're literally playing games because they're morons and they don't realize how bad it will really get.
Yeah, until that kid gets killed.
But they're playing for keeps.
Okay.
That kid's going to get killed, man.
I think so, too.
I mean, well, look, by now he's probably given the gun back.
I hope so.
Could you imagine what would happen if people started shooting? That kid would have no idea what he was doing.
None.
And he'd be a target because he'd have a gun.
He might shoot himself.
Or some innocent people.
Seriously.
Or someone right next to him without knowing.
Yeah. So you've got, the point that Crowder is making. What's to stop some armed, I don't want to say right wing necessarily.
Yeah.
But there was a preacher who showed up and he had a megaphone, he had a speaker, a PA.
Yeah.
And he was trying to preach. So a bunch of people grabbed him, pinned him down, held him, and stole his stuff.
The same dude who is the Antifa, one of the Antifa leaders from Portland. He was saying, I run Antifa in Portland. was one of the people that was choking that dude.
Yeah, I saw his picture. And Andy Noah's report on who that guy is.
Yep.
This guy, so what you need to understand about Antifa is that it's an umbrella, it's a cell organization type group. Antifa dates back to to Weimar Germany, I believe I'm pronouncing it right, where the Communist Party had a paramilitary wing, anti-fascist action. They flew that flag. Antifa today uses propaganda to say it just means you oppose fascism, right? They're actually revolutionary communists. One of the highest profile Antifa websites is run by a group called RevCom. Revolutionary communism. And they literally wear uniforms and they have boots and they goose step at protests. We see them all the time.
It's ridiculous.
So this dude who's down there, the guy you're talking about who's pinning down this preacher, is part of, I believe, Rose City Antifa, a branded cell.
Boom.
So I see this propaganda popping up all over the place. There's no such thing as Antifa.
It's like, no, they're there. They're openly saying that they're there.
Right. But this is well-to-do liberals who don't actually read the news. Yep. They just get their information off of CNN, and then they see memes. And so, like, I write this really long, thought-out post explaining very neutrally what Antifa is without criticizing. I'm just like, here's how they operate, here's what they do. And then people are like, oh. And I explain to them very simply.
Yeah.
The reason Donald Trump wants to designate Antifa terrorists doesn't mean literally they're going to take the word Antifa and place it on top of a board that says terrorists. It's so that if somebody throws a brick through a window, they say vandalism. If somebody is wearing the Antifa patch and throws a brick through a window, they say terrorism because you are using violence to push a political ideology.
That is the definition of terrorism, yes.
I'm not saying I'm a big fan of the Patriot Act stuff. I'm not at all. I'm just trying to explain to you what Trump was trying to do with that. So here's what I think might happen. You get the John Brown Gun Club affiliated, like this guy, what was his name? Willem Van Spronsen?
Willem Van Spronsen, yeah.
Shows up to an ICE facility, I think last year or the year before.
Last year,
with a ghost AR, so home-built rifle, fire bombs, and starts just bombing the ICE facility, torches one of the vehicles, wasn't able to get the building. I believe he was shooting at the police. They shot and killed him.
Wow.
That was Puget Sound John Brown Gun Club.
Yep.
The same people who are walking around the CHAZ with rifles.
Wow.
So in the U.S., they can't do anything about that, their affiliation, because of the First Amendment. You have a right to express your opinions or whatever. But the point is, if these Puget Sound guys do something terroristic, I wouldn't be surprised if they get charged under terrorism statutes.
Yeah.
Or these Rose City guys. But I'll tell you what, man. It's funny. It's not a game to these people that a preacher on an American street gets thrown to the ground and pinned down by multiple people as they steal his stuff. And they tell him you can't be here.
I don't know if he was an official preacher.
No. I'm saying like
he was preaching for sure.
Right. So I don't mean to say that he's like literally affiliated with the church.
Yeah, I know.
In America, you're allowed to stand where you want and speak.
Right.
So think about it this way.
Well, at the time they were still CHAZ, which would be their own country. They were claiming.
Yeah.
So now they've changed it to CHOP.
Because they were colonizers and they were concerned, like, we conquered this land. What does that mean?
What
does it mean?
Supposed to do now?
Yeah, because they had an army marching at them. They're like, no, this is still America.
I don't know if that's the real reason.
I'm saying it.
But here's the point I'm trying to make about this
They
speaker
got
guy.
scared.
Man.
They
Look,
should be.
You've got this preacher. He's got his PA system and he wants to preach. You know, he said I want to speak about my king or whatever. He's clearly going there to defy them.
Definitely.
Now, what happens when then we saw some people walk through with American flags.
I mean, and for the record, that same kind of person goes out to the streets to defy everyone because they think everyone's a sinner. You know, I've seen them in New York.
Yeah.
You've seen them in New York.
They
stand there and they preach to everyone.
Wait, have you ever seen that video where the guy tries to punch the preacher and he catches his fist?
Yes.
Dude.
I saw that.
That video.
And he goes,
Yep.
I
Yeah.
saw you.
That's funny.
It's funny, the smile that comes on his face. It's like,
I'm not a big fan of these guys. You know why?
Why?
I've actually tried talking to them and they don't. They tell me nothing because
the preachers, you mean?
Yeah, not all of them, obviously.
Yeah, it's like, but whatever. Let them talk.
Yeah.
I'm not going to listen. I don't have to listen to you.
I'm not super concerned about a preacher showing up. I am concerned about Antifa, literal known branded cell Antifa actor who's been arrested before with his mugshot being released, pinning a guy down with the help of others to steal his stuff because they don't like what he's saying.
And then do you see the video of him being completely unconscious, dragged down the block?
The preacher guy.
Same preacher.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Man, I didn't
Completely
see that, no.
passed out completely. He was out cold.
Yep.
They were just dragging him down the street.
Dude.
Wow, man.
I mean, you don't see what happened beforehand, but I mean, you put it all together.
Well, so
I'm pretty sure they
look,
messed him up.
A couple people wearing American flag bandanas, carrying American flags, walked through.
Yep.
And then someone up and stole it from them.
Yeah.
Clearly going there to defy the far left protesters.
Yep.
How long until the same thing happens, but this time they've got 4 guys on each, standing in a formation with AR-15s?
I'm surprised we haven't seen it.
And then at
already.
what point, with they've got their, they'll have a Confederate patch or an American flag patch or 3 percenters or Oath Keepers, and then one of these John Brown Gun Club guys or this dumb kid who sees them and panics and says, "What do I do?" And so he holds a weapon and he points, and then the actual trained legit guys are like, "Drop it, drop it," and they put him down.
And they will.
Or
One
the kid
shot.
fires. Or the kid sees them and panics.
And starts an all-out. Oh man, that's what I see happening, because he clearly had no idea what he was doing. He was like, I want to play this video game. This video game's dope. Look, he's got a Tesla, new Tesla with guns in the back. Yeah, let me get one too.
Seriously.
Cool. What do I do with this thing?
Now what do I do?
Playing for keeps though, baby.
What do I do with my hands?
That's a real gun, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify, and we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.